Hey, what's happening? All right, back to our project that we're working on here. In case you haven't figured out what we're building a pool house. We're building something to store our stuff for the pool, store chemicals. We're also going to have a bathroom in it, so we're going to learn a little bit about electrical, learn a little bit about plumbing. So we're starting from the ground up. If you look over here, we have all these slabs in place. These are to hold pillars to make sure that we got a good stable foundation under this pool house that we're building. And we're actually started today on real construction, not just digging holes. What we have to do first is build a big box to put the floor for the floor. We're gonna have side plates and then we're gonna have joists. This is what we're working on right now, is a side plate. Now, our building is 25 feet long. The problem is, you can't buy a 25-foot piece of lumber. If you could, it would be special order and it would cost a fortune. So what we have is a 16-foot board, and we're attaching a piece of board on it called a scab. Then we're gonna add that other 9 feet to it, and that'll give us our 25-foot end plate. We're gonna do one with one on one end, then we'll have the scab, we'll flip it over and have the scab on the other end, and we'll have the scabs on opposite sides of the building. That's going to give you strength. When you're doing construction, you want to stagger your seams anytime you can, because if you have all the seams in the same place, you're going to give you a weak spot. So that's what we're working on right now. We're just put about 1 million nails into this thing, and we're going to turn them. If they went through, they kind of slightly did in places, we'll end up cleaning them over with a hammer. We're just backing them off, and we'll do that, and we're going to build 2 of these, so we'll get back to you after we get 2 of them built. Thanks. All right, what we're doing now, we're getting ready to start putting this thing together. We've got a joist board, an end plate here. We've got these end plates that replicate each other. So we're getting ready to tack them together, and we're getting ready to make sure that they're square. So we're not going to pack these with the air nailer, because if we have to take them apart, it's a pain. So what we're going to do is just use a hammer and nails and tack each corner. So we're gonna tack these corners, tack the first corner, show you how it's done, then put it all together, and then we'll go from there. Scott, come here.
Got it.
All right, so now we've got this thing pinned together. We got to make sure that it's all square. The easiest way to do that is use the 3-4-5 triangle. I can tell by looking at it, it's not square, but I want to show you how it works. Over here, we've measured 3 feet from this corner. We have a mark. Scott, come here. Over here, we measured from this corner. We've got 4. So I'm going to have Scott stand over here. Hold the tape at the bottom of that line where the 3 is. All right, no, go center of the tape. There we go. All right, this shows 61 1/4. So we are out of square 1 1/4 inches. So if this angle's, let go. If this angle right here is too big, that means that these angles are big. That means that angle on that corner is big. That means these angles are small. So what we have to do is push it in on those 2 angles until this is square. Then we check everything. The other thing that we do is we take a diagonal measure from corner to corner. Those should be identical. When that's all done, we're square. Once we're square, we can start setting joists. All right.
Yeah, that's about square.
No, it's not square, but it's not bad. Or not square. this tool is called framing square. You use it when you're doing framing like we're doing here. We're gonna check and make sure all our corners are square, because if any of our corners are out, it's gonna make for a nightmare down the road. So we're gonna square this, check it. We've already checked it once, that's why there's corner braces in all 4 corners. But when we put that on there, it's square. So it's good. So we can go with that. Next thing we're gonna do is check our diagonals using a tape measure, and they should be the same. So we're gonna set that up and we'll show you that. We've ran a tape measure from one corner to the other, and this is dead on 27 feet. So we're gonna check the other side. If they're square, it should be the same. We're at 27. So this thing is square. All right, go ahead and let go, Scott. You didn't hold that against that inside corner. It was on the outside corner. You ready? All right, we're gonna start laying this thing out for floor joists now. Floor joists are the beams that go across and help us to support the weight of the floor and whatever weight you put on the floor. So that's what we're gonna do right now. They need to be done on a 16-inch center, which means the center of the board, each board should be 16 inches apart. So we're gonna basically figure out where the center is of these long runs. We're gonna measure back 8 inches, and then we're gonna go 16 inches until we run out on either side. So we're gonna start our layout now. So what we've done is measure our length, which is 25 feet and 1 inch. So we converted that to inches, which ended up being 301 inches, divided that in half, and that gave us 150.5 inches as our center line. So we've got a center line on either side. When you're laying out joists, I like to start from the center and lay them out from the center and go from there. It makes my life a little bit easier. Next thing we're gonna have to do, because your dimensional lumber, when you set it on edge, is 1.5 inches thick, we actually need to come back 3/4 of an inch and give ourselves a line to set up where we're gonna set our joist into place. So we're gonna measure back 3/4 of an inch. Make a line here. And then make a line here. That tells us where to put that board. And then we put an X on the board side. That's where the board's gonna go. We'll repeat it on both sides, then drop the board into place and then nail it. All right, so stop. All right, so we've dropped this board in here. We've drawn the line, we've lined it up. We can tack that now and then line up either side. Once we've got that tacked, we've got that joist on a center. We're gonna go 16 inches centers the whole way down, and that's gonna give us our floor. So we're gonna line this one up and tack it, and then we'll do a few more and we'll show you what it's gonna look like. All right, now what we're gonna do is lay out all the lines for our floor joist. So Paul, show them a piece of tape measure real quick. All right, on a tape measure, every once in a while you'll see a red number. Most construction is done on a 16-inch center. We found our center, so what we're gonna do is just hook it over that floor joist, and every 16 inches make a mark. Once we've done that, we're gonna come back with the square. Scott, grab the square. The combination square. No, the little square. It's sitting right there, son. All right, hand it to Paul. And then go ahead and just show us how you make a square mark. Since you marked your distance. Just on this one right here, Paul.
Okay.
All right. And he's going to mark his mark with a line. Then he's going to do another line running up the face of the board. Over here, Paul, where you just were. Run that line up the board, the face of the board. This line right here. Move your tape measure out of your way. Run a line on that mark. Up and down. No. With your square facing down. Yeah, like that. On your mark. Turn your square sideways. Come hold the camera and I'll do it. Remember this now? All right, so we've got that line. Now we need to know which side we're going to be placing our joist at. So we put an X, and that X tells us the side where we're going to put our joist in when we go across. All right.